All right. This is Andrew. I'm here with Stuart. Hi, Stuart.
Hello?
And we are going to walk through all the untamed cards in Mass Mutation. So, um, how's it going, Stuart?
Good.
Any Keyforge lately?
Yeah, did a tournament between North California and Southern California. Did okay on that.
Nice. Yep. Yep. So SoCal won. Um, it was close up into the last week, and this last week's been a stomp, but we'll survive. We'll
Mhm.
carry on. And yeah, and I get to join Team SoCal soon. Although I think NorCal has rights to call me up, to call me over to their team, if there's any number discrepancies. Um,
Mm.
and I would always be happy to join them. All right. So um, I just looked through these cards this morning, and as such, I do not yet have an answer to my all my normal 5 questions. But uh, how about we start with if you open or let's say you sit across from an untamed deck in sealed, what kinds of abilities or characteristics are you expecting to see out of untamed in your opponent's deck, not knowing what cards are in it?
Usually, just a lot of creatures getting a lot of amber quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's usually the big one. Then they almost always seem to have some kind of key cheat that they can trigger relatively easy.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of amber generation. A lot of recursion. Definitely, they have some key cheat in their flavor. In the first set, they had two, and in the last 2 sets, they've only had one key cheat in house. So that's been interesting. And then they also have some key cost manipulation floating around. And they really like to play with the power of creatures. So they like to put power counters on creatures, and they have a lot of effects that will boost the power of creatures. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, and a lot of skirmish, which I think we see coming up here. A lot more
Hmm.
skirmish. So cool. All right. And then be thinking about this because when we get to the end, the other questions that I'll have are, based on what is in this house in this set. What other house would you like to get it in a deck with? Um, what's your favorite combo here in the cards that we're going to go through? And then if you could get a legacy untamed card back in this set, showing up in a deck, what would it be? Um, and then the last one, if you've seen enough of the other card pool to answer, will be what Maverick would you like to see? Um, yeah, so we'll come back to those after we've actually gone through the cards. Anything else you want to say before we jump in?
Not in particular.
All right, sweet. So we'll start off with the boring by now because it's in every house. Dark Amber Vault. I don't know yet what the actual rarity level on this is. It's a special rare, but it's the same card and it just shows up in all 7 houses. It's an artifact, it's a location, and it says after you play a mutant creature, draw a card. And each friendly mutant creature gets +2 power. So it's a nice little booster for your decks that have mutants in them.
Hmm.
All right, and then the next one is another that shows up in 3 separate houses, and that's It's Coming. Now, it's important to point out It's Coming is a also a special rarity, and it's the same card in the 3 houses that get it. The thing that makes a house get it is that that house has a gigantic creature available. And if you get a gigantic creature, it automatically comes with one copy of It's Coming. So, and what It's Coming does, it's an action with a bonus amber, and when you play it, you search your deck and discard pile for either half of a gigantic creature. These are the creatures that come in two separate halves. You reveal the card and you put it into your hand, and then you shuffle your deck.
Yep, definitely is going to be a big key to getting the two-part creatures on the board.
Yes, it means you can feel good if you draw one part too early. You can feel good about discarding it, or if you get one part early with this, then you boom, you have the whole creature. So yeah, pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, you're up.
Next card is Cephaloist.
Hmm.
It's a mutant creature, 4 power. While you have 4 amber or more, your amber cannot be stolen. Another one of those you can't steal amber till you deal with this creature, and definitely um, one of the more powerful creatures that has some kind of prevention for amber being stolen.
Yes, and it's interesting to me that it keys off of how much amber you have. I think that's nice. I typically, it's not typically when I'm at 1 to 3 is not when I'm really worried about my opponent doing a big steal turn. Um, and yeah, really nice to have this in Untamed because amber generation is such a big thing for them. It's nice to kind of be able to say, I'm going to generate all this amber, and here you can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'll definitely be interested to see what other cards in Untamed lend themselves to keeping that creature alive, either with taunt or some other uh, way to keep track of it.
Yes. Of note, if you have the Dark Amber Vault, it's 6 power, right?
There you
So
go.
that's something. Although that means your opponent could have a similar thing. So who knows? It's gonna be crazy.
The next is a creature called Damo Beast. It, it is a mutant beast, power 3 with skirmish, and when it's destroyed, you steal 1 amber.
Hmm. Um, and in case I think people have seen some of these at this point, but we're going to see 6 different versions of the beast here, and the other 5 will come later. But the beast part is that which gives it the skirmish is an untamed thing, and then each of the 6 variations is going to have the other half of it filled in by one of the other houses. So Damo Beast is the Dees version, and that's where it gets the destroyed steel one from.
Nice.
Cool. And I actually, well, I'd like to hear your thoughts, Stuart, but I like this. I think having a 3 power skirmish is pretty okay. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. And having it be something that gives you amber back when it's destroyed is like just puts a weird, your opponent has to do the math and decide whether it's worth it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a poor man's Brand, the Fanatic,
Yeah.
and especially in Untamed, extra exciting.
Hmm. Cool. All right. Next up is Dark Fairy. This is one that I got to spoil on here when some folks over in the EU first opened it. Um, but it's a 2 power mutant with skirmish and fight gain 2, and I think that this is like the mutated version of Do Fairy, because that's kind of a theme in here that we get mutated versions, like we get Rad Penny instead of Bad Penny, and I think this is the mutated version of Do Fairy. It has a very similar effect, except it has skirmish instead of elusive, and it's fight gain 2 instead of reap gain an extra 1.
Hmm.
Yeah, very very interesting little
Any
creature. Hmm.
Any card that lets you get 2 amber in one turn is going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the only downside to it is like 2 power without elusive is very, very easy to kill. Like there's so many ways to kill it, but um, bat drones stay on the table sometimes, so it could happen.
Hmm.
Um, cool. And then the next one is Fandangle. This is a 3 power human witch. It says while you have 4 or more amber, that's really similar effect to the cephaloist or cephaloist. While you have 4 or more, your non-untamed creatures enter play ready. That's super interesting.
Looks really good. It's a lot like the Dusk Witch, but a little bit
Hmm.
stronger, so a little bit harder to get off the table.
Yeah, stronger, but with a stipulation, not elusive, and it doesn't apply to your untamed creatures. But it seems really good.
Uh, the other thing is, in my experience with Dusk Witch, if your opponent does not kill it, your odds of winning just went up 50% at least.
Yeah,
Because it can be that strong if there's creatures to put on the table next turn, and so this has that same kind of power spike if it's not killed first turn.
yeah, and I'll add to that. It's a common. Um, was Duskwitch common or uncommon? I don't remember. I want to say uncommon though, but it's a common, and it doesn't have Omega, so you could theoretically play 2 or 3 of these on the same turn. And then if your opponent doesn't have a big wipe in their hand, probably one of them sticks around. So in that way, it's a little better than Duskwitch just because you play multiples.
Uh, Dusk Witch is a common.
Oh wow, okay, crazy. I think hmm, interesting because I'm trying to think of decks where I've seen more than two. I think I've seen two in a deck, but not more than that. But maybe I just need to get out more.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay.
The next card is Flumph. It's a Beast Cat, power 3 with Skirmish,
Hmm.
and it says fight, give a beast creature 2+1 power counters. And based on the way it's worded, I would assume that it can even do itself.
Hmm.
So sort of like some of those Brobnar creatures that like to keep on gaining power as they're killing stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Plus it has Skirmish, so definitely a strong fighting creature.
And look at those cute little wings. Just look at them. There are some beast cats with less cute wings coming up later. Okay.
Next card is Ghost Hawk. Was in the previous set, but it does have deploy and play you may reap with each creature one at a time. Um, Still has all the cool effects there. The one other thing that crosses my mind, if you have the Key Frog uh,
Mm.
be on the table as one of those things and have a way to either kill it from reaping or some other way, is you now have a key cheat built into that.
Uh. Oh yeah, yeah. If you have the key frog down, you're able to get some amber gen off of some reaps, and then somehow, maybe with one of your reaps or something, your key frog.
Hmm.
Yep.
I guess I'm being a little crazy, but I imagine your opponent having one of the things that's reap and they die.
Right.
Uh, with the key frog and the ghost sock comboing, pretty cool.
Yes. Although important like clarification here, the ghost hawk does not ready and reap. It just
Fair
it
enough.
just reaps. So you usually want to use this between two non-untamed creatures. Um, but it depends on the circumstances. This can, last I checked, this can reap through enrage or things like that because it gives the creature the ability to reap, but not the ability to fight. So they can't fight. They can. Um, yeah, but definitely this is an exciting card for sure. Like very nice. Um, Good for it. All right. So next up is Gloriana's Attendant. This is a 1 power mutant. with enhance 2 bonus amber, and I think, I mean, I don't know if this is like really the mutation of Dust Pixie, but this the devs have pretty openly talked about this being a replacement for Dust Pixie. They compare it to Dust Pixie um, because it gives you 2 amber pips. It just doesn't give you them on this card necessarily. Um, so a
Do the
very
Amber
very
Pips go on
interesting
the same
effect.
card?
Not necessarily. They can. So the rules around that are basically they can go on any card and they don't necessarily have to go together. The maximum number of pips a card can have is 5. The maximum number of icons a card can have is 5.
So we're hoping for that 5 Amber fertility chant.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, that is definitely going to happen at some point. Like there's enough because it already has 4, right? So it only needs one more. Yeah, I am sure that's going to happen.
That's going to be exciting for the key cheats and for the Infernuses.
Yes. Yes, 100%. Oh, Infernus is going to have a real good time. Um
I
okay.
could definitely
Mhm.
see it being the situation where you'd want to get it out of your own discard pile if you do play with it or have it be your last key.
Yes. 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 I'm gonna let this sit in my archives until right before my deck flips, for sure. Okay, so next up is you mentioned this already, but Key Frog. It's a 2-power beast. And it's interesting. I didn't notice before that it is a beast. It makes sense given that it's a frog, but that does mean that its power can be boosted by some of the various things that do that. Um, and when it's destroyed, you forge a key at current cost. Um, I'm really interested to see how this plays out because it's so different from Key Charge in that Key Charge is a play right now, and it happens. Key Frog need a way to kill it. Um, and so when I open a Key Frog deck, the first thing I'm going to do is look at, okay, what are the ways that I can kill my own Key Frog other than fighting it into something? Um, and anyway, I think it adds like a really neat dimension. It's also cheaper than so anyway, but very interesting card.
Yeah, it will be interesting whether you hit combos like Fang Tooth or any of the other things that allow you to just ping some damage.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, if you had this on the table and you use Obsidian Forge, you can forge 2 keys.
Oh wow, that could be very interesting.
Yes, yes. Anyway, okay, cool. Yeah, and I'll spoiler it because we'll get there, but I think this is the only key cheat in Untamed this set, so it's just going to be very interesting.
Hmm.
All right.
Next card is Lost in the Woods. It's from previous sets. It does have an Amber Pip on it. It says play, choose 2 friendly creatures and 2 enemy creatures. Shuffle each chosen creature into its owner's deck. Um, Definitely a great card to get stuff to pop off the board, or get cards back in your deck that you'd want to play again later
Mm-hmm.
for whatever play effect there might be.
Yeah, and interesting. I wasn't sure, but I just double checked. This is only the only previous set this was in is Coda, so we've been without our Lost in the Woods for a while now. We get it back.
Nice.
Yes, awesome.
The next card is Niflate, power 3 creature that was in Coda. I don't remember if it was an AOA or not. The one thing that it does do that's cool is that it can ignore taunt and elusive when
Mm-hmm.
attacking, and so it's situationally good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I always tend to discount it, and then I'll get bitten, at some point and be like, oh, I guess I should have been more worried about that.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair assumption. It's a card that sometimes just really doesn't matter, but there are times where you can get through some kind of elusive or taunt and cause some big damage to a creature that they were trying to protect.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Next up is Pismire. This is a 4-power mutant, and its ability is that while there are more friendly mutant creatures than enemy mutant creatures, your opponent's keys cost +2 amber. So if you're ahead on the mutant uh, quantity game, then your opponent's keys cost +2, which is nice, and it's a 4-power body, which is nice too.
Hmm. Definitely a great way to keep someone off of a key, or
Mm-hmm.
just make them spend more.
Yep. Uh, oh yeah, go ahead. Were you gonna say something else?
No.
Oh, you I heard you breathe. I got excited. Okay. Uh, next is Rapid Evolution. It is an action with a bonus amber, and it says play, choose a creature. Give it a +1 power counter for each amber you have. And since this is untamed, hopefully you have a bunch of amber, uh, and you make a creature big.
Hmm. The next card is going to be pretty cool. It is called Reclaimed by Nature. It's an action with an Amber Pip. It says play, purge an artifact, resolve its bonus icons as if you had played it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, any kind of artifact control is always good, but not only that, it does have an Amber Pip, and it purges the artifacts. So they're not
Mm-hmm.
getting the artifact back.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It seems real good.
Hmm. And I think you almost have to assume you're getting a second Amber Pip most of the time because of there's so many artifacts with Amber Pips.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably like 3/4 of the time it's gonna work out. Um, and
Hmm.
and when it doesn't, it's not fine. But because I really think the value here is in being able to turn something off. Um, but yeah, it's great. You don't even have to use it, right? Like with remote access on a Key of Dees, for example, you have to actually destroy everything. But with this, nope, it just goes away. It doesn't trigger. Um, Definitely a nice angle.
Hmm. The next card is Resurgent. It has an enhanced icon, and it says play. Return a creature from your discard pile to your hand. If that creature is a mutant, return another creature from your discard pile to your hand. Now you've got a way to get two creatures back in your hand in the
Hmm.
later game scenarios. Seems pretty cool.
Yeah, and I was gonna say at a basic level, you're at least gonna get one creature, right? So you can compare it to regrowth. And I was gonna say, well, in that case, regrowth's better because regrowth has an amber pip. But actually, like resurgence puts a draw icon on some other card, so that's pretty good. I think the amber pip is probably a little bit stronger than the draw icon, but it's a close trade off, and the ability to pull two creatures back is really good.
Hmm. Definitely.
Um, cool. Okay, next up is Savage Clash. This one's really interesting. It's an action. It does not have a bonus amber. And when you play it, you destroy each creature except the most powerful enemy creature and the least powerful friendly creature. Um, it, it's such an interesting situation to me, like the outcome there that you leave them with their biggest creature and you with your smallest creature. Um, is it's very interesting, and I know there are situations where this will be beneficial to play, um, but it'll be interesting to see because it seems like there could be a downside, a pretty strong downside too.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, I get that. My excitement about this card would be based around the fact that you have a board wipe that does not cost you a bunch of change. So
Hmm.
there's definitely times where it might not be the best thing, but if your opponent has a big board, being
Yeah,
able to lower it to one creature with no chains is pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you had two creatures to start with and they had 10, you're pretty happy about this.
And
Even if it is their biggest creature that you had to leave.
correct. And I have a feeling you could figure out a way to kill your smallest creature and make it so that their creature dies from Fangtooth or some other cool combo.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, yeah, nice. Way to go. Didn't even think about that. Cool. Okay, and then oh gosh, why do I have to read this card? The the next one is Song of the Wild. It is the card that inexplicably is possible to get in threes, um, as any common is, but sure seems to come up in threes more often than I would want. Um, anyway, it is an action that says play for the remainder of the turn. Each friendly creature gains Reap, gain one. Um, and like it sounds like such a great deal to turn all your creatures into Dew Fairy. The problem is I just don't get this when I have creatures ready to reap. And I don't know if it's my play style or what, but it just never works out for me. And I think that's the general consensus is that this doesn't work out very often.
It definitely works a lot better when you're able to archive it for later, save it for the right
Mm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I know I had one deck that had double Song of the Wild and a key charge, and so when I was able to hold on to those Song of the Wilds in archives and pull them out when I had the key charge, it was really nice. But
Mm-hmm.
it was hard to hit it even in that particular deck. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely combos well with Ghost Hawk, so
Yes.
when it hits, it's really cool, but it's definitely hard to have it hit.
Yep. Yep. And even so, and here's my like the math on this is let's say you have no untamed creatures on the board, but you do have other creatures, and you pop this with Ghost Hawk. It gains you 2 amber. So, which is, I mean, is better than no
Which is
amber.
probably yeah, and that's probably the easiest way to trigger it. But yeah, it's definitely not a fantastic card, and I've discarded it before plenty of
Yes.
times.
Yep, yep. All right, well, upward and onward.
The next card is Amber Spine Mongrel, the power 3 creature that's a beast, has hazardous 3, and after an enemy creature reaps, gain 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, if you're not paying close attention, it's a big mistake to leave this on the table when you plan on reaping. Um,
Yep.
you're just going to end up equaling Amber with your opponent, so unless you have some way to take it back, you're not really helping yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. This is back from Age of Ascension. But I mean, the combination of the hazardous three, so you just feel like, I don't want to fight into that, with the fact that like it's one of these cards like this is this way. Handle unit works this way, where you're saying do what you want, and I'll just sit here and benefit from it. It's fine. You go ahead. I think it's a really fun effect.
hmm The next card is Bumblebird. It's a creature with Beast Insect, power 1, and as alpha. It says play, put 2+1 power counters on each other friendly untamed creature. I've had this in plenty of decks, and most of the time I think it's a waste of time.
Hmm.
Um, it's way too often where you don't have other untamed creatures on the table, and since you
Yeah,
have to play it first, it ends up being a 1 power creature on the table that's probably going to die, but you might get a reap out of it later.
yeah, yeah. I think if it was like put one on each other friendly creature, not untamed, that would make it a lot better. Um, but yeah, I agree. it's a similar problem to what Song of the Wild has. Um, but beautiful art. Um, cool. Next up is Commune. This is a weird one. I'm interested to see again, like if this turns out to be great. I don't think it is, but we'll see. It's an action, and it has Omega, which means that after you play it, you end the step. So this, effectively ends your turn. After you play it, you're gonna ready your creatures and drop to 6. But um, but you don't get to play or use any more cards. And when you play it, you lose all of your amber, and then you gain 4 amber. And obviously, if you're on 0, then that's great. Um, but the number of times when I'm on Untamed that I'm going to be on, less than 4 amber at the end of my turn, is hopefully not that often, right? So I don't know. I'll be interested to see.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Treasure Map, though I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking this one's probably going to be a little bit easier to hit than Treasure Map.
Hmm. Yeah, I was thinking on a turn one play, right? This has the same effect as Treasure Map, right? It gets you 4. The the difference is, if you're at 6 amber, Treasure Map can still get you 4, or at least 1. Although, yeah, if you're on a turn where like you have 2 amber and you have a bunch of creatures to play, and you play the creatures and do this at the end, you're really happy. So I think it just depends.
Hmm.
And then the next one is Dark Harbinger. This is a 4 power mutant witch, and it says after you play an untamed action card, ready Dark Harbinger. Um, so I think for the most part, barring any upgrades or whatnot, this basically, gives you the ability to get extra amber out of playing action cards, because you're really going to reap most of the time with this. It's only 4 power and it doesn't have skirmish.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. I think the odds of you getting it ready are going to be really high. Not going to be that hard to play an action card to get it going, and might make Song of the Wild a little better.
Oh, and you know what? I think Dark Harbinger. Ah, the artwork ties it together. We'll see later when we get into the rares. There are 3 mutations that are actions that I think must be keyed off of having a Dark Harbinger. I think they must give you a Dark Harbinger.
Okay.
And in that case, what they do is they give it interesting abilities, um, like skirmish, for example. And um, so you can imagine like getting to, hey, I'm going to give my creature skirmish, and Dark Harbinger gets readied at the same time. So I think there might be some fun stuff like that going on, but we'll see.
Sounds good.
Yep. All right.
The next card is Fangtooth Cavern. It's an artifact that has been in previous sets. It has an Amber Pip. It's a location that says at the end of your turn, destroy the least powerful creature. Um, Definitely a good way to keep track of what creatures are on the board, especially if you can control any of those ties for the 2 or 3 power creatures. Um, Helps you be in a good position for the state of the board.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. This is Fangtooth is one, like if you get it in a deck, I think you have to kind of play a little bit to figure out uh whether it's good or not, right? Because if you have a lot of small creatures, it might not be very good for you. Um, but you play to get a feel for that, and sometimes it'll depend on the matchup as well. So I think in that sense, knowing whether to play or discard this makes it kind of a high skill cap card.
Mhm.
Cool.
Makes sense. The next card is Growth Surge. It's an action with an Amber Pip. It says play, give a flank creature 3+1 power counters, and then give its neighbor 2+1 power counters, and give the second creature's other neighbor a +1 counter. This to me looks a lot like Bumblebird, but actually useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's also funny because it's like a positron bolt, but in reverse.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, definitely a fun card. And yeah, and really nice with the Fangtooth Cavern actually, if you get them both.
Hmm. It's a good
Uh,
combo.
yep. Cool. All right. Next up is Low Dawn. This one's back from Worlds Collide. It's an action with a bonus amber. When you play it, if there are 3 or more untamed creatures in your discard pile, gain 2 amber. shuffle each untamed creature from your discard pile into your deck. So you want to get this late so that you have some untamed creatures in your discard pile. At that point, it's 3 amber, which is amazing. And then it is important that it says each untamed creature, so you don't have the ability to like choose some but not others. You're gonna put them all back in your deck, but um, that can still be a very good deal.
Hmm.
Um, and then the next one is Lumilu. This is another cat. It's a 4-power beast and cat, and it has Reap, gain 1 amber for each other friendly beast creature. And that is crazy because the upward, you know, the upper end on that is you could reap for 6 with this. It could be really crazy.
Hmm. Definitely has a lot of potential. I'll be interested to see how this works in actual playing.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm wondering whether it'll be a bust like some cards or just be absolutely awesome.
I think it'll be a. I mean, I think this goes in a similar category with the witches actually, where it turns into like a must kill. Um,
Hmm.
Now, if you know your opponent's deck, you can say like, oh, okay, how many beasts are in this deck? Oh, there's only 2 others, so I'm not going to worry that much. But I would see this in a similar category with Professor Sutterkin, where if or Duskwitch really, right? Where if it stays on the board, it's going to be a big problem.
Yep. You're
Uh,
asking for problems if that stays on the board because they can play whatever creatures they have in
right,
addition to what's already on the table.
right. And I just have to point out the wings on this one it's a little slimmer, has a little bigger wings. Well, we'll see where that goes.
The cats are getting bigger.
Yes. All right.
Next card is Mushroom with a View, an artifact with an amber pip. Its location it says Omni, heal 1 damage from each friendly creature. One of those cards that I don't think I'd mind having in a deck, but I'm not sure if I'm seeing exactly how much power it's going to have if it's only healing 1 damage. But there might be a situation where you combo that with something else.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Next card is Niflgrounds, an artifact with an amber pip. Its location it's been in previous sets. It says action, choose a creature for the remainder of that turn. That creature loses taunt and elusive. Another way to get through any of those creatures that are elusive or have someone protecting them, you can cut right through.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, this was in AOA. Um, but the Niffle apes haven't been back, so we haven't actually had them together in a set yet. So it's just interesting. That means really there's like a lot of it all adds up to there being a, quite a lot of ability to on elusive. I think is
Mm-hmm.
cool. Okay. Um, Next up is more Niffle. Niffle Queen. Niffle Queen is a 6-power beast. Also has the Niffle trait, and says that each other friendly beast creature gets +1 power, and each other friendly Niffle creature gets +1 power. So that means your Niffle apes effectively are 5 power at that point, and all your other beasts are +1. If you happen to have 2 Niffle Queens, which is possible, um, it's only an uncommon. If you happen to get 2 Niffle Queens, then they make each other bigger too. So at that point, your Niffle Queens are also 8 power, and your apes are 7, which is bonkers. And each Niffle Queen comes with, I think, at least 2 Niffle Apes. So they work in tandem in that way, where if you have a Niffle Queen, you're guaranteed at least a couple of Niffle Apes.
Definitely brings some power to the Untamed board.
Hmm. Yeah, and if you have this with Lumilu, holy cow, watch out. All right. Oh wait, you did you? Yeah. Okay. I'm still
You're
on.
up.
Uh, I can't count. Okay. Trimble is a 3 power mutant, and it gives each mutant creature skirmish. Um, that's kind of crazy. And I'll just say, like, the thing that is extra crazy about this is it says each mutant creature. It's not even each friendly mutant creature. So this really changes a lot of things on the board. Um, Very interesting to see how games go. And of course, because it has such a strong mirror effect, I think there will be some situations where you're better off discarding this, and some situations where it'll be really good to play it. So, because of that, that this is a card to that I think can really amplify player choice.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Cool.
Next card is Troop Call. It's been in previous sets. It does have an Amber Pip, and it says play, return each friendly Niffle creature from your discard pile and from play to your hand. Definitely a good way to get a lot of creatures on the board, and it's not going to hurt you having the Amber Pip. So I'll never be sad about having this card in the deck.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And this also, I think you have to have at least one Niffle creature for this to be in your deck, is what I mean. Okay.
Next card is Volt's Blessing. It's an action with an Amber Pip. Play, each creature gains 1 Amber for each mutant creature they control. Another situationally good card, but if you have a couple mutants on the board, that can be a lot of Amber real quick.
Yeah. I mean, this one's crazy to me because again, like the upper end of this is so high. Like, I mean, you can't have 8 mutant creatures on the board unless your opponent had a chance to do something about it. So in that sense, like it's not totally crazy, but you could have 8 mutant creatures on the board, and then this gives you 9 amber, right? Which is insane. Even free markets stops at 6. Um, so yeah, just crazy, but uh, could also help your opponent. So we'll have to see how it pans out.
Hmm.
I like it because I think one of the things I like about it is that it rewards board control, and I think I like board control, so I like cards that reward
I think you just like control in general, but I do
it.
agree about your playstyle also.
Cool. Okay. Next up is Wild Bounty. This is an action. It has enhance 2 bonus amber icons. And when you play it, the next time you play a card this turn, resolve each of its bonus icons an additional time. Um, how good is that? It depends
I'll
so
tell you
much.
that Fertility Chant is not that uncommon in decks,
Hmm.
and all you have to do is get those 2 cards, and you've got 8 Amber.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And the best part about that combo is that your opponent only gets 2 off of the first play. They don't get, you get all 8. They don't get doubled. Um, so yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
I expect to see that combo happen at some point.
Yeah. Yes. Um, Hopefully by me and not to me, but yes.
Yep.
um, and then oh yeah, did you have something else you want to say about it?
No,
Okay. Next up is Wild Spirit. See, I was trying to relinquish control there. Give me some credit.
but you still can't count.
I uh yeah. Well, I'll work on it. Wild Spirit is an upgrade with a bonus amber, and it says this creature gains Reap Capture 1. Um, and that's fine. I this is in Worlds Collide, and it I can't remember a time where it was like amazing. Um, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's not bad with the Amber Pip. I think I only had one time where it actually mattered in a game.
Hmm. Well, hey, that's
So
that's that's good though. That's one time.
I think it was not beneficial for me, but yes, I think it happened one time where it actually hurt me to have them capturing an Amber or two.
Ah, ah. Well, there's your day in the sun, wild spirit. Enjoy it.
Well, moving on to more exciting cards. Amberlution is an action that's Omega. It says play, destroy each creature. Each player reveals their hand and puts each creature from their hand into play ready. That's going to have a high skill cap, but if you manage to, to play that at the right time with a bunch of creatures in your hand, it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it is very very crazy. The nice thing about it is I think you get more probably. Oh no, it's Omega. So yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But if your opponent is ahead on board state, then this is good. It's a good reset. Um, yeah, if you're ahead, then it's a discard for sure. Yep.
Hmm. It does work out to be a board wipe also. So yeah, definitely situationally good.
Hmm.
The next card is Blossom Drake. It's a 4-power creature that's also a dragon.
By the way, I think this is our. Oh no, sorry, Amber Lucian was our first rare. This is our second rare. But yeah, go ahead.
Got it. Blossom Drake gets +1 power for each artifact in play. Each artifact's text box is considered blank. So definitely a good way to nullify any artifacts in play. Plus, you end up with a big fat dragon at the end.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite new card. At least in Untamed. So
Well,
cool.
mm-hmm. Seems pretty cool.
Very nice. Like, I mean, it could almost be Smaug, except Smaug doesn't have things sprouting out of him.
It definitely has that kind of resemblance.
Yeah. Also, I think, um, I mean, Nizak was an anomaly, so um, I don't know if he really counts, but if you do count him, then this is the third dragon to appear in Keyforge. So that's kind of cool. Very very sparing with those dragons.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up is a really I think it looks like a creepy pasta version of like Venusaur. Um, but it's Chonkers. It's a 1-power mutant, and it has Skirmish. And after an enemy creature is destroyed fighting Chonkers, you double the number of +1 power counters on Chonkers. When you play Chonkers, you give it a +1 power counter. So it really comes into play at 2 power. And the first time it kills something, it's going to go to 3. And the next time it kills something, it's going to go to 5. They really should have called this the Fibonacci fighter or something.
Yeah, it's definitely that kind of sequence. If somehow you manage to kill 3 creatures, all of a sudden you're at 7 power.
Yep.
Actually, that's like killing 2 creatures.
You kill one, you'll be at 3 power.
Yep.
Kill a second creature, you'll be at 5.
And if you manage to kill a
A
third, you'd be at
third, then
11.
you go to 9 because
Nice.
you would go from from 4 counters to 8 counters
Got it.
and be at 9. Yeah, I think.
No, that sounds right. Um,
Can anyone tell for sure?
definitely looks like a fun card to play with.
Yeah. And then next up is Dark Queen Gloriana, a 3-power mutant with enhance 2 bonus icons. and when you play her, you return a friendly non-untamed creature to your hand. And I suspect the reason for that particular ability is like they envision getting uh, getting amber pips on some of your non-untamed creatures, um, and then you get to pop that back in your hand and play it again. That's my guess at kind of how that's supposed to work, but seems cool.
Hmm. More amber's good.
Yep, that's true. I do. Your amber is strong in this game.
The next card is Earthbind. It's been in previous sets. It's an upgrade with an amber pip. It says this creature cannot be used unless its controller has discarded a card this turn. Definitely a good way to slow down your opponent, though it's not going to be game changing.
Yep. Yep.
The next card is Eldest Bear, 5-power creature that has Beast, Leader, and Witch. Assault 3. While Eldest Bear is in the center of your battle line, it gains before a fight, gain 2. Definitely a strong fighting creature. It's got Assault 3 to get through some of those weird elusives or just put it up a little power. And then if it
Mm-hmm.
survives, you got. Actually, they don't have to survive because it's before fight. So you're getting 2
Yep.
amber. So that's going to trigger real easily.
Yeah, I didn't realize before that it's a witch, but it makes sense. Um, and yeah, definitely. I think this rates under Jericho and Zenzi, but still a very good leader. I mean, if you get this in the battle line, you're pretty happy.
Hmm.
Um, and sorry, I was kind of checked out on the last one. What I was doing was checking to see whether it's possible to get Dark Queen Gloriana without Gloriana's attendants, and the answer is no. If you get Dark Queen Gloriana, you will get at least one Gloriana's attendant, which
Hmm.
means you're going to get 4 enhanced bonus icons.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, all right. Uh, I got another cat. I'm so happy. Um, So I'm not even a cat person, but they're good cats. So Eunoia is a 6-power beast and cat, and it has very large wings and very large claws, and looks very menacing. And it says after an enemy creature is destroyed fighting Eunoia, gain 1 amber and heal 2 damage from Eunoia. That seems good.
Definitely.
I like the self healing nature of it, and it there's some nice beast combos, and we'll see coming up there are some nice cat combos too. And then next up is a card you're very excited about, the Fertility Chant. It's an action with 4 bonus amber, but when you play it, your opponent gains 2. So you gain 4, they gain 2. Which is pretty cool. I just now realized, I hadn't realized before, that those 4 bonus amber are like oriented slightly differently. So it looks a little haphazard there. They're not all facing exactly the same way. Um, that's kind of cool. You could get a 5th icon of some sort on this because of enhance, but that's the most. You can't get more than 5.
My expectation is that there's going to be a few decks that are going to come out with weird fertility chant combos or 5 amber fertility chant combos that are going to be real strong decks.
Yeah.
Because it's not that bad card as it is, but if it's got an extra enhance icon
Hmm.
or that was it that bounty card earlier,
Yeah. The wild
wild
bounty.
bounty.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a few decks. They're going to be top tier with this card in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
For
it's
sure.
but it's going to need those other pieces to make it strong. Because it is, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, see, and this is where like I think this is hurt a little bit by swapping out Key Frog for Key Charge. Um,
Hmm.
because this into Key Charge was a good way to close out a game, right? But this into playing a Key Frog doesn't immediately close out the game unless you have something else going on. You have the Key Frog was played last turn, or you have a way to kill it this turn, or something like that, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, cool.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna need a way to kill the key frog if you're gonna pull off the combo.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, Frog must die.
Next card is look what I found. It's an action. That's Omega. It says play. Return one card of each type, action, artifact, creature, upgrade from your discard pile to your hand. Great opportunity for some recursion, especially for some big and powerful cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I um, it's interesting. This is like a I don't think it's an exact translation, but this is a good counterpart for Eureka, actually. And maybe that's why she's pulling at a um, a logos creature arm there. Um, but Eureka means like I've found it, or could actually mean look what I found. Um, but yeah, getting to return 4 cards to your hand is kind of crazy. Um, and I actually think this might be the most recursion heavy Untamed yet. Like, it, it's interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, I think that card's gonna look real good. Is that a rare?
It is, yeah. Yep. We're in all rares now.
Got it.
Yep.
The next card is Mercy, Malkin Queen. 3-power creature that's a human witch. It has skirmish. After a friendly cat creature enters play, ward it, and it says fight. Ready a friendly beast creature. This has got a huge amount of synergy with the cats, um, where you can just go back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, first of all, like just the fact that you can drop this and a cat on the same turn and the cat gets a word is pretty good. And then getting to use the cat twice. Yeah, that's so good.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely better board control than you normally see in Untamed here.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. And I'm trying to think. I wonder if this is uh I wonder if this is one of those because FFG likes to do the thing where they let people who've been employees with them for a certain amount of time get to be on cards. She looks like almost realistic enough. Mercy does to maybe be modeled after a person, but um, I don't know. They just seem to try to have gone for a little bit of photorealism in the face. I think of Brad on Quixo,
Hmm.
a little too real. um, cool. Okay. Next up is uh, Pose Pixies. This is a 1 power fairy back from AOA. And was Pose Pixies in Worlds Collide 2? Might have been. Um, but Pose Pixies is elusive and says that amber that would be stolen or captured from your pool is taken from the common supply instead. And that actually makes for, yeah, it was in Worlds Collide as well. That actually makes for 2 cards in Untamed in this set that prevent steal, which is pretty cool.
Definitely.
Um, yeah, I think it's a very, very fun card. Um, and then we have Punctuated Equilibrium, which is another really fun card. An action that says play. Each player discards their hand, then refills their hand as if it were their draw card step. Um, Obviously, if you've just played, 4 cards and this is your 5th card, you're getting a pretty good deal out of this. It's also a really good way to break opponents' combos. If they've been saving up a card for the right moment and you just knock it out of their hand, it feels so good.
Yep. It also for those cards that keep people off keys that your opponent's been holding. This knocks them out of their hand right away. I saw that at a tournament that you were playing at, Andrew, where
Hmm.
your way to keep them off key number 3 was discarded because of this,
Ah, yes, I do remember that. It made me sad.
which was probably the game winner.
Yep,
So definitely a good card, and especially towards the end of the game where someone has to lose something they've been holding on to is a big deal.
yep, cool.
The next card is Quicksand. It's an action with an Amber Pip. Play, destroy the most powerful creature controlled by each player who does not control a ready untamed creature.
Hmm.
Uh, so good way to kill a couple of creatures. Not going to hurt you with the Amber Pit being there. And situationally, if you happen to have a ready untamed creature, either from a combo or from playing on a previous turn, only your opponent gets hurt.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a good chance that you get to have it benefit, or hurt only. Um, yeah, work out pretty nicely. In weird situations, this could be a way to kill your frog.
Definitely.
Um, yeah.
The next card is Ritual of the Hunt. It has been in previous sets. It's an artifact with an Amber Pip. It has an Omni ability. Destroy Ritual of the Hunt. For the remainder of the turn, you may use friendly untamed creatures. Assuming you played Untamed on the turn before, the next turn you get to use all those creatures, and it's better
Hmm.
than the combat pheromones that Mars had, since you can use all of them.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, such odd artwork. Very very Yogi Bear esque. Yeah, yeah, it is. I don't know. It's solid. I've had this in a few decks before where it does really good work, but you definitely have to have the creature survive. Um,
Correct.
so all right. Next up is Scout. Scout is an action with a bonus amber, and when you play it for the remainder of the turn, up to 2 friendly creatures gain skirmish. Fight with those creatures one at a time. This is best if you have a couple of non-untamed creatures on the board, um, and gives you that house cheating ability. Um, can be very very nice. So I think it's uh, pretty great. And in the worst case, it's just an amber.
Uh,
You broke up. Can you say it again?
oh, it doesn't ready creatures,
It.
so
Mhm.
using out of house creatures would be much better.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Similar. Actually, I didn't realize this before, but that's like a common theme with Ghost Talk. Actually, I guess. Right? Like here, we'll let you use them, but they have to already be ready.
Mm.
Um, cool. And then Stampede is also returning, I think from AOA, but it's an action with a bonus amber, and it says when you play it, if you used 3 or more creatures this turn, steal 2 amber. Um, yeah, that's an interesting one. I think this could actually combo really nicely with like your Ghost Hawk or your Scout because it if you got to use uh, creatures from other houses, that helps add to your count. Um, or if you had um, really there's not unfortunately um, the ways that to get creatures to come into play ready for Untamed in this set are apply only out of house. So you really do need to either just have you need to be relying on creatures you already had on the board probably to get this to fire. But if it fires, it's pretty awesome.
Yep. 90% of the time it'll be an Amber Pip, but when it's not, it's awesome.
Yep, cool.
The next card is Vine Apple Tree. It's an artifact with a location. Uh, it says key cost are +1 for each growth counter on Vine Apple Tree. After a key is forged, remove each growth counter from Vine Apple Tree. Action, put a growth counter on Vine Apple Tree. Solid way to increase key cost, especially if the timing is set up where your opponent's going to be foraging before you, or you just want to keep them off check.
Hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting one because it applies to you too. But if you can time it right, then it can be a good effect.
Hmm. The next card is actually one of my favorite rares.
Hmm.
Uh, it is Word of Returning. It's an action with an Amber Pip. It says play, deal 1 damage to each enemy creature for each Amber on it, and move each Amber from those creatures to your
Mm.
pool. Uh, I've had some decks where this is one of my favorite answers to a bunch of Sanctum or Saurian
Hmm.
capturing because you can just grab it back.
Yeah, and yeah, so nice because I think this has only been in Coda before. So it'll be really interesting to have it in a set with Saurian and Sanctum both.
Definitely.
Um, all right, next up. Oh, the one thing you have to be careful of, I think, will be uh, is Ludo back? Um, obviously, if you do this to creatures when a Ludo's on the board, if it kills the creature, then the amber will evaporate before you could move it to your pool. So interesting, kind of weird caveat there. But still, if this you didn't have another way to get the amber back off of it anyway, so better than nothing. But hopefully you're able to actually get the amber.
Definitely.
Cool. Okay, Xenos Blood Shadow is back from Worlds Collide. A 4-power human witch with elusive, hazardous 6, poison, and skirmish. So just stay away. You don't want to be involved.
It's a strong creature.
Yep. I think. Oh, this is one of maybe 2 creatures that has hazardous higher than its power. The other is there's a rare in Coda. Uh, ramp something. Briar Grubbling. Yeah. 2 power, 5 hazardous. Um, but this one's actually better because it has poison and skirmish. All right, and then we have Mutation of Cunning, and this is an action with a bonus amber. And when you play it until the start of your next turn, a creature gains elusive and the mutant trait. Um, and this, by the way, I did check. There's 2 more mutations coming, um, but it is not possible to get one of these and not also have a Dark Harbinger. So they are definitely connected. So, yep.
Hmm.
But yeah, this one gives your creature elusive and mutant. All right.
The next card is Mutation of Fury. It's an action with an Amber Pip. When you play until the start of your next turn, a creature gains Assault 3 and the mutant trait. Fun Amber Pip and gives a creature a good way to get through an elusive creature that's 3 power or less,
Mm-hmm.
or just kill something big.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Next card is another mutation action card. It's Mutation of Instinct with an Amber Pip. Once you've played it until the start of your next turn, a creature gains Skirmish and the mutant trait. So you can have a free Skirmish creature.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, these are pretty cool and interesting. It's also interesting to me that it lasts until the start of your next turn. So for cards that care about, how many things have mutant, you can have a temporary boost to that as well that lasts through your opponent's turn, which is odd.
Hmm.
All right. Next up is Toad. Anytime you get a Xenos Blood Shadow, which we looked at earlier, you will definitely get a Toad. Toad is a beast with 1 power. and it cannot reap. That's it. And it used to be Prince Derek, I think. Um, Now, I'm actually a little interested. There's like there's enough things in this set that care about the beast trait that you could end up with like a 3 power beast that that uh that lets your one of your cats get an extra amber when it reaps and etc. So it could actually like end up being okay, much more so than it was in Worlds Collide.
Yes, it will be slightly less useless.
That's such a such a stirring compliment there. Slightly less useless. Yeah, yeah, I agree though. All right, we're back to the beasts, and we go to the Dino Beast. This is the one obviously mashed up with Saurian. So it's 5 power. It's a 5 power mutant beast with skirmish, and when you play it, you may exalt it, and if you do, you deal 3 damage to a creature. And that can be a nice little effect. Actually, I will say, historically, I feel like Untamed has had quite a lot of direct damage dealing stuff, and they seem to be lacking it in this set compared to other sets. So, for that reason alone, this seems like it could be a really nice thing to have.
Hmm. And that's also another way to kill your key frog.
Ah, indeed, yes. Did not think of that. Perfect.
Or someone else's key frog before they're ready to forge.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
The next one is Sacro Beast. It's a 5 power beast creature with 2 armor, and it has skirmish. Just a big fat dude that likes to fight.
Yeah, that's like really big. Yep.
Is that one
Um,
supposed to be attached to Sanctum, or is there a new
yeah.
house Sacro?
No, no, that's Sanctum. Yep.
Okay. And then our next beast is the Techno Beast, because it loves techno music.
Mm-hmm.
It is 4 power creature. It's a mutant beast with skirmish. But in addition, when it's not skirmishing, it has a reap. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. So a good way to cycle through your deck if you decide you want to reap instead of fight with it.
Yes. So the skirmish comes from it being a beast. The dash beast. The techno part gives it the reap ability. And you'll find with these mashup creatures, there are a few of them where the abilities just don't quite match, and you're like, that's weird. I think the
So
techno
have when you
ones,
have mutant.
yeah, exactly. The techno ones are like the weirdest because they like the reap abilities. You know, there's like the skirmish, but I think there's another one that gives it assault. And so it just ends up being kind of weird. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. And so the next one is Umbra Beast. It's a 3 power mutant beast. It gets skirmish. That's the beast part. The Umbra part gives it elusive, which really turns this into a what's his name? Like him. Uh, man, not not Redlock. Um, can't even remember
Sorry,
his
I'm not.
name. Nope, he's
What does the
terrible.
creature do again?
He's a shadows creature in AOA that is 3 power skirmish and elusive. Um,
Oh, Knuckles Bolton.
yeah, exactly. Yes, this is Knuckles Bolton, and it's still bad.
Yeah, I never thought it was bad, but yeah, there's definitely other cards I'd like more.
Yeah.
Sort of like
Um,
having the nipple apes. They're real nice when you need to kill something with skirmish that's small.
right,
Or but not fantastic either.
right. And then this last one is Xeno Beast. It's a 4 power mutant beast with skirmish and fight. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put one into your hand and one on the bottom of your deck. That seems great.
Yep. Is that one related to Star Alliance?
Yep, exactly.
Hmm. No, it looks great. It's got skirmish, and when you fight, you get a cycle deck. So
Yeah,
there you
the
go.
the the abilities actually complement each other. So nice. You get to do the last one. Turn
Well,
your
the
head
next card
sideways.
is Niflkong. That does nothing. But the next card after that is the bottom half of Niflkong, where you can see what it's able to do.
Uh
It's a
huh.
12 power creature with 2 armor. So one of the strongest creatures ever made, and it's not like Grommet that's going to stop you from doing anything else. Um, and you have to play with the other half of Niflkong. When you play, search your deck and discard a pile for any number of Niffle creatures, reveal them and put them in your hand, shuffle your deck. And then it also has Fight Reap. You may destroy a friendly Niffle creature. If you do, deal 3 damage to a creature, steal 1, and destroy an enemy artifact. So if you manage to get this creature on the board and doing things, uh, very strong.
Interesting. I kind of want to see, since we have some scanned decks now. Uh, what? So like, oh wow, there's a deck with. Oh no no. Okay, I thought I had two Niflkongs, but it's just the two halves of the card. That'd be very silly. Oh, there is a deck with two Niflkongs and three Niffle Apes. That's fun. Um, it doesn't. Yeah, so I think it looks like if you get Niflkong, you're definitely going to get at least a couple Niffle Apes. Um, whether you get more is um, who knows. But with all the like recursion, like low dawn and things like that too, it means you're going to get you're going to be able to recur them. It seems pretty good.
Yep, definitely. Um, not necessarily the easiest combo to hit, but if you're able to, it's going to look real good. And yeah, looking at some of these decks that with Niflkong in it, they also have it's coming pretty regularly. And I'm even looking at one, I think, Japanese deck that has 2 it's coming and
Yeah.
4 Niflkong cards.
So if you get one of these gigantic cards or one of these gigantic creatures, you are guaranteed to get it's coming. It's auto included.
Got it.
So and the one that has four, that's only actually two Niflkongs. So it's two Niflkongs, which means four cards, and then two it's comings. But yeah, that seems great. Um,
It's nice to see Untamed come back around to being useful.
yeah, I agree. I felt like they were very iffy in Worlds Collide, and they seem they seem good here. Um, I am interested. I have not so far seen a deck with both the king and the. There are some. Okay, there are some decks that have both Niffle Kong and Niffle Queen. So seems pretty cool.
Yep, that's definitely interesting. But yeah, if you got 1 or 2 Niflkongs and a bunch of Nipple Apes and it's coming, you're actually going to be able to do some good stuff with that house.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. I like it. Um. Cool. All right. So let's jet back through and talk about some cards. My favorite combo is the like I really like the I'm hoping to get a Mercy Malkin Queen with some cats. That just seems like a fun little cat swarm idea. Um,
Definitely.
so I think that's the combo I'm most excited about. What about you?
I just can't wait to see the wild bounty fertility chant.
Hmm.
I want to see that combo happen and maybe even have more than one of them in the deck.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think a lot of decks will have that, but if they do, that's going to be a pretty strong Amber Spike. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, for
then
sure.
I'm really interested to see how things will go with like Savage Clash, if that could even be a key cheat using with the Key
Hmm.
Frog or something.
Hmm. yeah, I agree that both those cards are cards that like I'm just interested to see if they end up being good or bad, and I don't know at this point. Like I'm just not sure. I mean, and
Yeah,
one like really positive thing that I was kind of missing about the frog is obviously if you play the frog and your opponent can't kill it, and then you can kill it on an off house turn, right? Like on your shadow's turn or on your logo's turn, and it turns into a key cheat in your other house, which can be pretty interesting.
definitely. If you manage to protect it with some kind of taunt creature or
Hmm.
some other way.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it could be really good with Dees.
Yeah, I think Key Frog's going to be the most interesting card in the set to see how it's able to combo.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, even with like a phase shift Key Frog and then Twin Bolt Emission or something weird like that. I don't know. It could be pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
A
Um,
lot of combos could arise out of that.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. So having said that, what house are you most excited to get comboed with Untamed?
Well, the one I just mentioned is Logos.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like I'm never that sad about having Logos because it always does cool things.
Hmm.
So I'd probably start with that one. I think the other thing that'd be interesting is if you're able to combine it with Obsidian Forge, like you had mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
or just Dees in general, because you're gonna have lots of ways to pull that off.
Yep. Yeah. I'm really excited to get it with the Dees and see how that ends up comboing.
That, and I really want to see a deck with Keyfrog as a Maverick.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Maverick and Dees especially would be like amazing.
Can you search for Maverick cards in a
Index of
Dex of
Keyforge?
Keyforge?
I believe
Yep.
yeah, you can. I'm pretty sure. Frog. Yep. And there is a key frog in Dees. Yep, it exists. Uh, cool. Okay, so then yeah, what legacy would you like to get?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think Key Charger Chota comes to mind to
Hmm.
begin with,
Hmm.
because it means you're forging again pretty easily.
Yep.
Nature's Call would be awesome with some of these different play effects, so I can see that one being real good too.
Yeah, those were the top two that I was thinking of are key charge and nature's call. Just nature's call is so good. And I actually think it might be less good in this set, so I don't mind so much.
That's fair.
But with some of the just depending on how the amber pips come out from some of those enhance abilities, nature's call could be insanely good. Um,
Definitely.
so yep.
I mean, if you have enough creatures, you could pull that Ghost Talk back and play it again.
Hmm.
Uh, Whatever Gloriana's attendant puts the enhanced amber icons could make something else really exciting to pull back up.
Yeah.
It would work the same as the old Dust Pixie.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, okay, and then is there a oh you know the other I'll just throw out one more legacy that I would really not mind getting is Taliga. I'm gonna miss Taliga.
Yes, that would definitely be cool.
Cool. And then what about for a Maverick? What Maverick would you love to see?
Oof. Um, well, any once again, Key Frog still becomes one of the more powerful cards. So anything that would combo that could kill that, whether that's like
Hmm.
a Positon Bolt or a Twin Bolt Emission, Poison
Hmm.
Wave, anything that's gonna give me an opportunity to grab an Amber Pip and forge.
Yeah, totally. Like a, yeah, some like a sack of coins would be really good. Um, a there's a few shadows cards. Booby trap, a What else? Look over there. Mug. Yeah, I think there's a lot of dark wave. There's a lot of shadows damage dealing cards that would be really nice for killing it, or even like a something like a deep uh it, like a gleeful mayhem. But I was thinking of one that lets you um kill a creature, and then you get to use uh a creature from the same ready and use a creature from the same house, which I think would be it'd be amazing to be able to be like, yeah, I'm killing my own um I'm killing my own key frog, forging a key, and then I get to essence scale. Yeah, and then I get to ready and use a creature that I just played. Pretty awesome. Cool. Okay. Well, that's that. I think we got it in the books. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think Worlds Collide Untamed was probably other than Brobnar, probably the most demoted house in my mind in Worlds Collide, and I think they're a lot better here, and I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, I do think it's a better house on average, and I'll be interested to see exactly how good it is when it comes to tournaments and playing games.
Yep, yep. Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for doing this with me, and for everybody watching at home, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we did, and can't wait to don't want to say get out and forge keys, but can't wait to get online and forge some mass mutation once it's all up on TCO. So cool. Thanks everybody. See you out there.
Thanks.